Am I the asshole for honoring my deceased brother's wishes and not letting his estranged wife attend his funeral? My brother recently passed away due to kidney failure. He had been dealing with kidney problems for most of his adult life. About 6 months ago, his wife of 5 years said she wanted a divorce. She was not happy and felt she deserved to be with someone more exciting. My brother was a good earner who worked long hours, and she was a stay-at-home wife. After his most recent bout of kidney issues, while he was in hospital, he updated his will and made it very clear that he did not want her at his funeral. He also made sure she received absolutely nothing. By that point, she was already seeing someone else. He passed about a month ago, and as per his wishes, she was not allowed at the funeral. She did try to attend, and was turned away at the door. Since then, she has called me heartless, and has had several members of her family send me angry messages. She was also furious that he left her nothing. He had transferred his savings to me for my daughter's education. For context, when he moved out, he took half of their joint savings and left her with the other half. The house they lived in belongs to her parents. He was a good husband who worked hard and did his share of the housework. She had a habit of leaving the moment he got home from work, rather than spending any time with him. We have not stopped her from visiting his grave, since there is nothing we can do about that. But as per his wishes, she was not allowed at the service. Am I the asshole? A man's final wish honored, no matter the cost. The next story is about a best friendship of 20 years that ended with a plane ticket and a Venmo request. Am I the asshole for charging my friend $800 after she left me 4 hours from home? Becky and I are both 31 and have been best friends for 20 years. In high school, we became close with 2 guys, Ryan and Daniel, and the 4 of us did everything together. Becky has always been fixated on Ryan. If he liked a girl, she would tear her apart or make passive-aggressive comments until things became uncomfortable. When he had girlfriends, she would openly criticize them, as if none of them were ever good enough. Eventually, she started doing the same to me. She would make comments to downplay my friendship with Ryan, or subtly compare us as if she needed to constantly prove she mattered more to him. It felt competitive for no reason, but I ignored it for years. Then came Ryan's wedding last month. Becky and I drove together and shared a hotel room. The passive-aggressive comments started again almost immediately. She said I would not even be at the wedding if it were not for her, and made comments like that in front of other people. Later in the hotel room, she complained that Ryan had not spent enough time with her during his own wedding. She actually said, "Sorry to you and Daniel, but he should at least want to spend time with me." After years of this, I finally snapped and said, "What a weird thing to say out loud." She immediately escalated and said, "Oh what, you really think Ryan and I are not better friends?" and brought up that he had asked her to help design the engagement ring. I said, "I don't care who is closer to him, but it's strange that you care this much." And then I said, "It's not our fault that you are in love with him." She stormed out, and instead of coming back, she drove off and left me stranded 4 hours from home with no way to get back. The next morning I couldn't rent a car because I only had a debit card, so my only option was a same-day flight home, which cost $800. I sent her an angry text and a payment request. She has not responded, and we have not spoken in a month. I will admit that saying she was in love with him was harsh, and the text I sent after was not my guess moment. We are supposed to talk tomorrow. Am I the asshole? The next story is about a sister who would not take a hint or a direct warning. Am I the asshole for telling on my sister that she planned to crash our mom's wedding? This is a throwaway account. This is about my sister, who I will call Ash. The main issue Ash has with our mom is that she always wanted a different kind of parent. Our mom was more hands-off and let us do our own thing, while Ash wanted a mom who would be at every single event. To be clear, our mom did go to our events, just not every single one. Ash felt like she was forced to grow up too soon. We were both expected to be able to cook and handle basic paperwork. I personally found it incredibly helpful when I went to college, but Ash felt like she lost part of her childhood because of it. At some point, Ash stopped talking to our mom for 6 years. Our mom mourned that relationship during that time. When Ash eventually reached out to reconnect, our mom said she simply could not go back to that relationship. That is her choice, even if I do not personally agree with it. Ash was shocked, and I had to explain to her that some people do not come running back after being cut off for years. The main problem is that our mom is getting married. The wedding is in a few weeks, and it is going to be very small. Ash is not invited and has been upset ever since. When we had dinner, she kept saying she would be there. I begged her not to crash the wedding, and she said she was joking. But I am friends with her boyfriend, and he mentioned needing to get a suit for the wedding. When I pushed him on it, it was because they were genuinely planning to crash it. I tried reaching out to Ash, but she did not respond to any of my texts. So I told my mom, since it was her wedding that was about to be crashed. My mom thanked me and sent Ash a message making clear she was not invited. I got a furious phone call from Ash, blaming me for ruining everything. She said I should have kept my mouth shut so she could at least see our mom get married. Am I the asshole? Loyalty is complicated when family is involved. The next story is about privilege, inequality, and a dinner table conversation that went too far. Am I the asshole for making my mom cry because she grew up in wealth and let the servants live in a shack? I am 16 and studying politics in my country, which is in the developed Western world. My extended family is very educated, and discussing current affairs is a big part of our lives. Where I might be the asshole is that during these discussions, if my mom, who is in her 40s, does not agree with me and gives me the silent treatment, I sometimes get really heated and make personal attacks about her upbringing that have made her cry. No one except my cousins agrees with me on this. My mom grew up in an emerging Asian country where poverty was and still is widespread. She grew up in a 10-bedroom city house with my grandparents and uncle. She insists this was completely normal and that she was actually relatively poor because everyone she knew was wealthier than her, which is probably true since she attended a prestigious private school and only associated with friends from the same religion, caste, and social background. This went so far that she and all her friends attended the same university, studied for the same degrees, for the sole purpose of spending time together. None of them ever intended to actually work. I strongly suspect they paid someone else to sit their exams. She lived at home doing nothing until she was 28, painting, shopping, and socializing, simply because she could. I once told her she could have donated her tuition fees to someone who actually needed an education, but she told me I did not understand, which is probably fair, since I was not there. What truly bothers me, though, is that she refuses to acknowledge her privilege in any way. She often talks about her household staff, live-in maids, a cook, a chauffeur, as if they were family because they watched her grow up. They are all elderly now, and some of them still live at the property, but in a 2-room shack made of metal in the garden. The structure looks appalling and cramped. It is roughly the size of a small bathroom. They do not even sleep inside it. They roll out their beds on the doorstep of the main house, even when temperatures exceed 100 degrees with brutal humidity. I am told this arrangement helps protect the house from intruders. I suggested building proper rooms in the garden for them, and was laughed at. I was told they are used to it and happy, and honestly they do seem content and devoted to the family. But in my opinion, if the garden is large enough for livestock, badminton courts, an orchard, and an occasional traveling fair, it is large enough to build proper accommodation for the people who have spent their lives serving that family. Am I the asshole? Some conversations need to happen, even when they are uncomfortable. The next one is much closer to home, literally. Am I the asshole for blacklisting a family because they did not want my son to babysit? This is about my son and daughter, both in high school. Instead of getting a traditional job, they both decided to babysit. They each have a decent number of families they work for and are making good money. My only rule is that when parents contact them, usually by text, I get to see the messages. They usually screenshot the conversation and send it to me or add me to the chat. My daughter was asked to do a last-minute babysitting job for a family that had been asking for her for a few months. She turned them down because she was studying and recommended her brother. They both do this. If one of them cannot babysit, they recommend the other if they know the other is available. The parent messaged back saying they found it odd to be recommended a boy and said this was not a job for a boy. They then pressured my daughter to come over anyway since they really needed a sitter. My daughter did not respond and showed me the messages. I was not happy at all. I asked her if she was okay with not working for this family anymore, and she said yes. I sent them a message saying that neither of my kids would be babysitting for their family going forward. I made it clear it was because of the comment about my son, and because they had pressured my daughter after she had already said no. I had to block them on my daughter's phone because they kept messaging her, and they also sent me multiple messages. Was I overreacting? My sister seems to think it was a bit much, and that she understands why they might not want a boy to babysit. Am I the asshole? Standing up for your kid is never overreacting. The next one is about a partner who made an incredibly hard time even harder. Am I the asshole for taking care of my mom's cat while she recovers from cancer surgery? My mom is going into cancer surgery in a few days. It is a serious surgery, and she will be recovering in the hospital for a minimum of 2 weeks. I told her I would take care of her cat while she is in hospital. She does not live in the same city as me, and there is no one else who can do it. I told my partner what was happening, and they were not happy about it. They are upset that I did not talk to them first before agreeing to cat sit. They are also upset that they will not be able to stay over at my place for long periods, because they cannot bring their own cat, and the 2 cats cannot be in the same space. On top of that, I am also moving into a new place just 1 week after the surgery. I honestly do not know what to do. I feel terrible because I know my partner is going to be upset when this all settles in. But my mom is going into serious surgery, and there is nobody else. Am I the asshole? Sometimes there is no version of this where everyone is happy. The next story is about a red light, a rude cyclist, and a crowd that turned on the wrong person. Am I the asshole for cursing at a cyclist who ran a red light while a child was nearby? There is a crosswalk with traffic lights in my neighborhood. Every single day cyclists run those red lights, even though in my country the rules are very clear. A bicycle is a vehicle and must stop at red lights. No exceptions, even if no one is crossing. I was waiting to cross when a cyclist rolled up. I waited until he stopped, checked that the signal was green for pedestrians, and started crossing. I was moving slowly but safely. As I crossed, he called out something like, "Go on then," as if I was deliberately delaying him. Not friendly at all, more like an order. While I was still in the crosswalk, he ran the red light behind me. Not close enough to hit me, but absolutely breaking the law. And this was even more infuriating because he had already been rude before I even finished crossing. So I called out that it was a red light and called him an offensive name. Not a nice thing to say, but between breaking the law, disregarding safety, and being rude to me first, I had had enough. He did a full U-turn on his bike and came back to confront me. It went exactly how you would expect. Do you have a problem? What are you going to do about it? The usual. He admitted he ran the red light and made clear he did not care. Then a family appeared that I had not noticed. The dad immediately started yelling at me for cursing in front of their child. An older man who appeared to be a grandfather started shouting as well. Within seconds I had a minimum of 4 adults surrounding me, all yelling at me at the same time. I tried to explain that the cyclist had run a red light, could have hit me, and their child could have witnessed a serious accident, but I just kept getting yelled at from all sides. After taking a few moments of being surrounded and yelled at, which apparently is totally acceptable behavior in front of a child, I told them all to leave me alone and walked away. The father and grandfather followed me, still shouting, getting in my face and squaring up. I kept walking, and they eventually stopped. They all think they are completely in the right, and I was outnumbered 4-1. Am I the asshole? The audacity of some people is truly something. The next story is about a birthday trip to Jamaica that started with one guest list and ended with a very different one. Am I the asshole for how this situation went with my wife's cousin's birthday trip? My wife, who is 29, was invited by her cousin, also 29, on a 4-day birthday trip to Jamaica to celebrate her turning 30. I will call her birthday girl. It was supposed to be an all-women trip. My wife typically likes to avoid these kinds of trips if she cannot include her gay male cousin, who is 28, and her best friend. Birthday girl has a long-term boyfriend that my wife does not particularly like. My wife said she would go on the trip if I, who am 33, could also be invited. So the trip that was originally all women turned into more of a general celebration for anyone who wanted to celebrate birthday girl's birthday in Jamaica. I was fine with that. But then I got the package pricing. The package was set up for 3 people per room. Not knowing the arrangement, I asked my wife who birthday girl's third guest was going to be. My wife said it would be her, me, and her cousin. I told my wife I did not want to share a room with anyone other than her. She said her cousin probably would not want to spend $3,000 by himself for a private room. I said I understood that, but I still would not want to share a room with someone else. Am I the asshole for feeling that way and saying so? I would honestly rather not go at all if sharing a room with someone else is a requirement. Reasonable boundary or party pooper? Now, for a complete change of pace, the cereal story that absolutely nobody asked for but everyone needs. Am I the asshole for hiding my breakfast cereal so my son does not pick out all the marshmallows? I know just from the title this sounds like I am the problem here, but context is everything, so let me explain. My son is not my biological child. I have been in his life since he was 7 years old, and he is 15 now. For everything that matters, I am his dad. I love cereal. I eat it for breakfast, for lunch, and sometimes as dessert. I enjoy all kinds of variety. Because there is always cereal in the house, my son eats it too, which is completely fine with me. My problem is, one of my favorites is Lucky Charms. I started noticing there were way more plain cereal pieces than marshmallows in the box. I brushed it off at first, but it kept happening consistently. Then one day I caught my son in the act. He would pour himself a bowl, pick out every single marshmallow, eat them, and then put all the plain pieces back in the box. I asked him to stop. He said okay. I caught him doing it again. So now when I buy Lucky Charms, I take the box and hide it in a cabinet where he cannot see it. When he asks why I never buy Lucky Charms anymore, I make up an excuse and say I saw another cereal I wanted more. The truth is, I just do not want to pour myself a bowl and find that all the marshmallows have been picked out and replaced with plain pieces. A week after I started doing this, my wife caught me putting the box back in its hiding spot and asked me why. I told her the truth. She called me an asshole for hiding cereal from my son. I just looked at her like she was out of her mind and found a better hiding spot. Am I the asshole for hiding my cereal? Truly the most pressing domestic dispute of our time. The next one is about a dog named Nugget and a mother who made it very personal. Am I the asshole for not changing my dog's name? After losing our Chihuahua and Pomeranian mix to kidney failure, my family and I decided to get a new puppy. We went to the Humane Society just to look. My dad said we were not going to adopt anyone. Then we found the tiniest little terrier mix and completely fell in love with him. His name is Nugget. He is 2.5 months old. My whole family fell in love with him, and we adopted him. On the car ride home, my mom suggested changing his name. My brother and I liked the name Nugget because it is silly and adorable. My mom argued that it would be difficult for her to call out a name like Nugget. She and my dad are Indian immigrants, and they started suggesting Indian names like Kutapa and Alu. I said no to an Indian name because we live in the United States, and it would be hard for vets, pet sitters, and groomers to pronounce. Fast forward to today, and my mom is still pushing me to change Nugget's name. I said no again. She replied that if she hates the dog's name, she will eventually hate the dog. I said you chose to adopt this dog, and you have been helping take care of him this whole time, despite his name. She then said that if I refuse to change the dog's name, it will be a personal attack against her. I am 18 and honestly do not know what to do. I like the name Nugget, but I am scared my mom will stop talking to me if I do not give in. Am I the asshole? A dog named Nugget should never be this complicated. The next one is about a cat named Lily, a neighbor named Jessica, and a level of entitlement that is genuinely impressive. Am I the asshole for not bringing my indoor cat outside to meet the neighbor's kid? I am 22 and still living in my parents' home. I am about to graduate and we have an agreement that I can stay here so I can hopefully pay off a chunk of my student loans. She is very sweet, but strictly an indoor cat. She is also very skittish around strangers. About 3 years ago, we got new neighbors, a millennial couple with young kids. Their oldest is probably around 4 now. Lily's favorite spot in the house is a sunroom that faces the neighbor's yard. Big windows. These neighbors also have 2 huskies who frequently escape their yard and end up in the street or in our yard. Lily loves watching and stalking them from the window, and over time their little boy noticed. One day I came home and the mom, who I will call Jessica, approached me. She asked if I could bring my cat outside to meet her son. I said no, that Lily was an indoor cat, did not like strangers, and I was not sure how she would react to a child. Jessica then asked if they could come inside to meet the cat, completely ignoring the part where I had just said, Lily does not like strangers. I said I would not be comfortable with that either, since it is technically not my house. The little boy had come outside and was upset he could not meet the cat. So I showed him some videos of Lily on my phone and offered to bring her to the window so he could see her. That was not good enough. Jessica told me it was, quote, wrong to withhold happiness from her son. Since then, my whole family has been getting death glares from her, and she has started posting on the neighborhood Facebook page asking the Homeowners Association to ban cats entirely. Nobody is taking her seriously because her own dogs constantly escape the yard. I do feel bad because the kid really was genuinely sad. But the mother's reaction is completely over the top. Am I the asshole? Some parents raise children. Some raise the bar for entitlement. The next one is refreshingly simple. A gas pump, a card, and a choice. Am I the asshole for not letting someone at the Costco gas pump use my membership card to get gas? While I was pumping gas into my car, the guy on the other side of the pump asked if he could use my card. He said he did not know it required a membership card to use. I told him Costco requires a membership card for everything. He then told me he normally uses his friend's card, so he clearly already knew he needed a membership. I told him he could not use mine. He started mumbling something and got back in his car without getting gas. When I finished and left, he was still sitting there. I am guessing he was waiting to ask the next person. I will admit I would have earned a small percentage back on his purchase. Maybe I should have asked for a few dollars toward my membership fee and let him use it. I don't have the Costco credit card, so he still would have needed to pay by other means. Am I the asshole? A small moment with a surprisingly big debate attached. The next one is about a sister, a proposal, and someone who just wants everything to be perfect. Would I be the asshole for suggesting my sister's boyfriend set up beauty appointments before he proposes? My sister is in her 40s, and her boyfriend, who is probably in his 50s, is proposing to her at the end of the month during a trip. He has a whole romantic dinner with a view planned. He has also been getting her pedicures and covering her groceries while she has been struggling financially due to health issues that kept her out of work for 2 weeks, on top of my niece's schooling costs. That has been very generous of him. After talking to my sister this past weekend, she mentioned she regrets not being able to get her hair done before the trip, because she cannot afford it right now. I know for a fact that he spent around $800 on her over that weekend alone. While it is obviously not his responsibility to pay for her hair and nails, I know my sister, and I know she will look back at the proposal photos and feel upset about how she looked. She has not cut her hair in years and hates the length, but she always puts her daughter's needs first. She is a wonderful mother and has worked hard through a lot of difficult things. I want her to have the proposal she has always dreamed of and to feel her best in those photos. She already hates having her picture taken because of her self-esteem. He told me the full plan for the proposal, and I do not think he considered how she would feel about her appearance in the moment and in the photos. I know the aesthetics are not nearly as important as sharing a beautiful moment together, but I want her to feel confident and happy. Would it be overstepping to suggest he book her a hair appointment at my salon, where I can get her a discount, and suggest a manicure before they leave? I am also planning to lend her my favorite dress for the trip, and let her keep it. For clarity, I am happy to pay for everything myself. My concern is that she will not accept it if she knows I paid. She hates the idea of me covering something like that for her. My sister and I have had a difficult relationship in the past, but we have worked hard to rebuild it, and I want to show her how much she means to me. Would I be the asshole? Sometimes love shows up in the small details. The next story has been causing arguments in one family for 15 years, and now it is Reddit's turn to weigh in. Am I the asshole parent for a punishment I handed down 15 years ago? There is a running argument between my 2 adult sons and me that has been going on for 15 years. It is all in good fun at this point, but I am genuinely curious what people think about the decision I made back then. 15 years ago, my sons were about 8 and 10 years old. Both had a Nintendo DS gaming console and were completely obsessed with them. One day after an argument over a game, things got physical, and the younger son broke the older son's console. It was never disputed. The younger son has always admitted he was responsible. As a punishment, I made the younger son give his own console to his older brother as a replacement. Harsh? Not really, because his birthday was only 3 or 4 weeks away, and he asked for a new console as a gift, which he received. I thought it was a perfect solution. But my older son has argued ever since that his younger brother was actually rewarded for breaking the console because he ended up getting a brand new one. His argument is that he should have received the new console and his brother should have been given the old replacement as his birthday present instead. It is all tongue-in-cheek and a fun family debate at this point, but I am genuinely curious. Was I the asshole parent? Update. Just to clarify, it was not an intentional break. They were fighting over the screen. The younger one was trying to see something, the older one did not want to show him, and it fell onto the tiled floor during the struggle. The younger one was held responsible because it was his brother's console and he should not have been grabbing for it. And for the record, the older son also got a brand new and better console a few months later at Christmas. Am I the asshole? A 15-year debate settled in one video. And to close us out, a story about honesty, a messy room, and a reaction nobody expected. Am I the asshole for telling my girlfriend her room is disgusting? My girlfriend, who I will call Elena, is 16 and I am 18. We always go out or spend time at my house and never hers, so I had absolutely no idea what her room was like. When I finally saw it, I was genuinely shocked. There is trash everywhere, fruit flies, clothes covering every inch of the floor, and leftover food and candy just sitting out. Her bathroom is no better, no counter space, and the same issues as the bedroom. It was jarring, because Elena is very well put together. She is basically the complete opposite of her living space. I felt like I should be honest with her, so I told her she should not be living like that it was genuinely not okay, and that we needed to fix it together. She got really upset, told me to leave, and has been ignoring me since last night. Am I the asshole? If you made it all the way to the end of this video, you already know what to do. Hit that like button, drop your verdict in the comments for every single story, and subscribe so you never miss a video. We post new Reddit stories every single day.